How's everybody doing? Jay Elsen, Jason Andera, Web Extra here on Varsity Sports Now. Can't pack it all into the show, so we moved to the internet and focus a little bit more on South Dakota 9-man football. Didn't get a lot of time for it in the show this week, Jason. Want to start right off the bat in 9AA. We're going to have a new champion for the first time in 3 years.
I'll tell you what, Bridgewater, Emory, Ethan, they were the favorites coming in. They came out with a great effort against Gregory. They dominated the time of possession in that game. Gregory, however, turned the ball over 3 times. He thought, well, that would be the ticket for Bridgewater, Emory, Ethan to cash in. They couldn't cash in. Gregory is that good. Jaden Bartling, he's the guy, you saw him play here when he was in Sioux Falls. He's one of the most electric athletes in all of 9-man football. He got it done for Gregory, and they found a way to win. And some people call that an upset. You know, it is an upset when you beat the 2-time defending champs, but they had more power points on the year. They played a good schedule and did a good job, and now they have to host Potter County, and it looks like they might get a ticket into the semifinals.
Well, and you look beyond that matchup, the other intriguing one from the first round, not a lot of great ones, but Howard taking on Elkton Lake Benton, and an impressive performance by the Tigers. What's it get them? An 8th seed, because they reseed after the first round, and a matchup at Kimball White Lake. That's a tough draw for Pat Rummel and the Tigers.
Yeah, I rank all the 9-man schools all in one big group, and I've had Howard pretty much all year in the top 5, and in all of 9-man, not even 9AA, probably the 3rd or 4th best team in 9AA all year, and they have to go out and play the #1 team, who has really looked flawless in almost every game this year. You've looked at what the Coyotes have played, and Kimball White Lake has almost all their team back from last year, which made a run almost to the title. And I think this year they've got enough firepower to do it again.
It's interesting. I wonder if they're a little disappointed. I think a lot of people wanted to see that rematch with Bridgewater, Emory, Ethan. But at the same time, if you're Kimball White Lake, you can't be real happy about drawing a team like Howard in the second round.
That cuts both ways. Kimball White Lake can't be happy playing Howard right out of the chute in the second round either. So whoever makes it out of this game, I think, has a pretty good straight approach to get to the Dakota Dome.
All right, let's move on. Class 9A, and not a lot of surprises here as we look at Canistota rolling over Hanson 54-0, and that just goes to show you how powerful this Hawks team is. We thought maybe they came back to earth a little bit after last year with what they lost. Not the case. They are clearly, maybe in all of 9-man football, the best team in South Dakota.
Well, yeah, they've beaten 2 9AA teams this year. And they've got, 33 wins in a row right now for Canistota. Cody Bunger, one of the best athletes that you'll see in 9-man football, doing a great job. Alex Robertson running the ball for him. But they've got options in the passing game as well. And, of course, they just look bigger. They just look more physical when they're on the field with another team. And I don't see anybody in 9A that really woke me up on Tuesday night that made me think, they could be a contender. For a while, I thought maybe Warner would be that team. But they came out a little sluggish against Wolsey-Wessington. And you've got other teams like Arlington, who I thought maybe would be a contender. They did a nice job taking out an undefeated Hamlin team, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to keep up with Canistota.
Somebody has to make it to the Dome, in theory, to face Canistota. If you had to pick one right now, based on what you've seen, who would it be?
I think the #6 seed, you have to be a little bit leery of now that they might make a run. It's Corsica Stickney. They've got Adam Borman, and when you've got a one player like that that's so fast at quarterback, he can be a difference maker, and they can get past a Harriet Selby, and then they've got to match up with a Warner team, Warner or Wilmot, and that's a team that could take both those 2 teams out. So maybe Corsica Stickney, the Jaguars, might be the only contender.
All right, moving on to Class 9B now, and Hardin County gets the top seed. And I know this is a team that likes to chuck it around, and it's a team you wouldn't mind seeing in the Dome should things play out and they end up getting the wins to get there. But just how good are they? We don't see a lot of them because they're as far away from Sioux Falls as they could possibly get.
Well, they're very good. This program has been good for many years at Hardin County. They've got great, loyal fan base out there. And the big key they have this year is they've got home field advantage throughout the 9-man playoffs, which means people have to make the long trek across the state to the northwest corner of South Dakota to play against Hardin County. That home field advantage should get them an appearance at the Dakota Dome.
ViborgHurley impressive in their opening round when they rolled up over Marion 64-14. Jason, they host Hitchcock-Tulare now in the 3-6 matchup.
Well, they've got to be careful. They're not the team that showed up against Hanson. That was the one letdown they've had this year. They need to be physical like they were against Marion and like they were against some of these other teams. If they can keep that physicality up, they could be a contender to Hardin County come playoff time, but they have to watch out. Colomb is another team we don't talk a lot about. They've got it going on this year as well. Should be an interesting semifinal matchup if we see Colomb going up against ViborgHurley.
Quarterfinals across South Dakota in all the classes, 11-man and 9-man coming up next Monday, and that should be a fun night as always, and we'll get to get to see what shakes out for semifinal
We
Saturday.
always think one thing and then something else happens.
Never turns
that's
out
what
the way you expect. Anyway, that's going to do it for Web Extra. For Jason Andera, I'm Jay Elsen. Stay tuned to MidcoSportsNet.com throughout the playoffs for more Web Extras just like this one.